Hi everybody, welcome to the fourth episode of Bidi Bidi Podcast, a series produced by the Bidi Bidi Media Lab, a collective of South Sudanese refugees that will be sharing with you their stories and discussing the main issues that our country has faced throughout its short history. The issues that we as refugees have been facing back in our country during our migration and here in Uganda as well. The Bidi Bidi Media Lab was created with the support of Arts Everywhere, a platform for artistic experimentation and non-fiction that you can visit online at artseverywhere.ca. Bidi Bidi Media Lab also comes with the coordination of GNCST, a multimedia production studio coordinated by the Handaran journalist Haman Andino. Let me introduce myself properly. My name is Richard Akim. I am a South Sudanese filmmaker living in Zone 2 of Bidi Bidi Settlement. We will try to share with you a small part of day-to-day life here in the camp. So for the first time, we can actually start discussing and finding solutions for those problems by ourselves and let the international community help. Thanks for listening, and let's start talking about this big place we now call home.
I used footing. I came on foot, carrying a lot of luggage, spending nights on the street, at times in a very hostile environment. Sometimes even I faced some challenges of water, food. I was not feeling well because my journey was so miserable, and I took long time. That place is, if I use vehicle, it takes less days. I've been spending most of the time eating fruits, wild fruits. I also found some challenges like sickness on the way because I didn't come with the antibiotics. I've been eating foods that are not well prepared. My life become very, very miserable. I fall off on from malaria bites. My body become so exhausted.
What were you expecting at your arrival, like to Bidi Bidi?
Yeah, well, I was first of all expecting safety because I need to be protected. Secondly, also I was expecting employment. Of course, like I need to support my children, other siblings in terms of education. So I need to be self-reliant anyway. Thirdly, I was also expecting I need to at least better standard of living so that at least I will be busy. Yeah, well, I didn't know about Bidi Bidi because when I reached to the reception center, we only were registered. Now from there, I just told that I should enter that vehicle.
Why did you decide to go to Bidi Bidi and not other camps?
Yeah, well, I think Bidi Bidi, I decided to come to Bidi Bidi since Bidi Bidi is much favorable to me in terms of accessibility. It is also somehow a connected area where I think I get connected to different zones. Like if I want to visit like to neighbor towns, it's possible for me since it is less costing. Secondly, also the topography of Bidi Bidi is favorable. It is almost compared to where I came from. The weather is almost the same. We have 2 seasons, so this somehow can favor me also. Yeah, well, when I arrived to Uganda border, I found different people who I've never met before. So this somehow has really created a lot of fear in my heart. Compared to home where I think I have my own relatives and I'm used to people who knows me, and I think majority of people knows me. So when I arrived to the border, I found different people, different culture, different climate. We were put in the same center with the number of people where we are registered. After we be registered, we are given some small images of food. We are given biscuits, So it really is so encouraging because I can see even there at least one begin to gain hope. I begin to see that because thousands of people were in the same center, meaning that there's a whole safety there. Even you can see even the deployment of the government security agencies where they're so responsible and they don't, there's a sense of safety in where we were before.
Before coming to Uganda, because I was born this side in Uganda, in Bidi Bidi, the same place. So I already had some brief idea about what Bidi Bidi is going to look like for me in my mind. So I came prepared, knowing what is going to happen ahead. Things are going to be harder. What I expected in Bidi Bidi is that one is safety, and two, we needed environment where like we are not going to listen to gunshots again. We be free, and if we have access like to medication, education, I think that will be really so great for the community. When you come and register at the border site, they already have like cars that transporting people. You will not know where you are going. You are going straight to Bidi Bidi. You will not have other choice saying you want to go to other settlement. No, we were first received by security men like soldiers alongside the border, and they checked all my belongings, checking whether I had gun before giving me to UNHCR. Then they transported me to where UNHCR's registration site is. And some people sometimes stay for weeks in that place waiting. And if you are lucky, for me I was lucky, it was only one day for me and I moved direct to Bidi Bidi. What was going through my head, it was, am I really in Uganda or still? Because I was never believing like, yeah, I made it to Uganda and even I got registered, because uh, the stress that I was having really disturbed me a lot. I couldn't believe that I was in Uganda until I reached Bidi Bidi. You are just taken to the bush, and here in the bush, you are just left in the bush. So you have to start your fresh life. That's what my mother told me when they were in Uganda. This is what happened. They'll give you like pangas, lasers, and carpets. So you start clearing the bush and you settle where you're going to be sleeping. After that, you go and receive your food using that card, meaning that card you have been given, you'll be using for everything. Even if you are going to collect water, you go with that card. Uh, for men and women, it was kind of the same thing, children, the same thing. But what I've realized that it's changed according to tribes. Cause to me, they first asked me like, which tribe are you? Then I was like, I'm a Pojulu. Then they were like, okay, stand this side. They keep on screening people according to their tribes. So what I realized is that after knowing that you are from maybe Nuer and Dinka and Pojulu, they screen you people to your tribes, and then like for the Dinkas were taken to their special zone, like not mixed with other tribes, and that's where I really know that things were done differently. Like to my side, people were really annoyed with the Dinkas that they caused, like they are the cause of the war in South Sudan. So it had a lot of misunderstanding, and they had to be really separated because people were fighting anyhow. Even if in the settlement at the border, still, even if the presence of the Ugandan government soldiers is there, people don't care. They are just fighting one another, and that's why they are separated. And it had no differences. It is the same because, uh, like lack of water is there. Medication sometimes is really so hard that only people are given Panadol. Even if your sickness is different, they don't care. They give you the same type of like medicine, and those things really, you know, it's there. Like in my imagination, things never change.
I just came. I don't know where I am going. What I know is I'm going to Uganda. I reached to where people were registered. Then we were brought to Bidi Bidi. I just hear we are going to be taken to Bidi Bidi. I don't know that this is my first time to see Bidi Bidi. It's not according to maybe someone's choice. We were brought just as a refugees. I cannot know because it was my first time to come to Uganda. I don't know where the very day that I reached to Busia, they welcome us and give us some biscuits. And still, the first time I arrived, I have that fear. The other following day, they bring us to Bidi Settlement. I thought maybe we are not going to be brought to a bush. I thought they have built for us houses. We're just coming to enter to our houses. And then later, what I realized is we were brought, they just leave us to the bush. I was even confused. I don't know where to start. At that time, really, I think back to South Sudan, where I was staying, the lifestyle that really I was enjoying in South Sudan. At that time, I was confused. I don't know. My expectation is my life, I have to be alive, where people ran really very many at that time. Even to sleep, people could not even get a place where to sleep. The houses were full. Even outside, people were full. Enough place where people can sleep at that time. Then the registration really take time. I even spent something of 3 days to be registered. At that time, there are very many different tribes, and there's no difference between a woman or a man. Everything where they just use line, whether you are a man or you are a woman, or whether you are, maybe if you are disabled, they could help you at that time. Yes, the challenge I got from here is the first day I arrived, there's lack of water.
Do you still see yourself living in Bidi Bidi in the future?
No, I wish to go back to my land. Here in Bidi Bidi I can stay, but there are some other things where like here we are receiving ratio. At time maybe the ratio cannot come at time, and maybe you can suffer. But in my country, we used to dig, we used to get some other thing that can help us. That's why I wish I could stay in my country.
Some of the challenges that I'm seeing on the ground is that other cases that are affecting particularly the women's and the youths, they are left out in a sense that they were looking for a chance of getting some vocational skills like training skills. There's no way. Those scholarships are restricted. With the women's, we have challenges with the health. Most of them, during the time of deliverance, they are not delivering safe. They just take them for operation, and exactly we cannot. We as leaders, we are even questioning ourselves. Those people who are working with us, is it professional enough? We need at least the issues of women should be rectified, and the youths, because those are the foundation. I expect to get something here. What I expect here is one. Since I said that I've already left my land behind, I need to have a knowledge. I need to gain a knowledge here. Two, I also plan to have a good family here. And then three, I also plan to have resources, because like the resources, like here when you have a family. A family normally need you need to have it may be even a cow, because the behavior changes to become now the and then three, out of here I expect also a security protection. It will also sound that at least Bidi Bidi need too much support. Needed too much support, because the support that which we had been giving to Bidi Bidi, we are not seeing them on the ground. Those things let people be transparent matters, and those people have been those challenges have been done by non-people. Non-people are the one doing this one at the top level, and they expect the community to be changed. How can the ground level change when the upper side is not changed? But for us, we are changed because the foundation is us. We need education, and when I talk about education sector, like what I've mentioned, others need to become doctors, others need to become maybe pilot. Like me, I need to become a president. And if I'm not been given that knowledge, how am I going to struggle to become at that level there? People struggle. Like we, the youth, we have that vision. When normally what I'm speaking is full of the vision. If that education sector, it is really clearly, the support is given clearly to the youths, maybe to the women and the youths, people can stay here. And then too, I'm having a responsibility with my children and my wife. There are other basic needs that the family also need. since our ratio is also too small. There's also a shortage of food where normally come in personally to the home. And also what I do experience here, at times we also have shortage of water. There are other shortages of water, where at times if water goes off, we also cry a lot. We need to drink some water. And I personally also feel sorry of if there's no water at home. Okay, what could be done is one, uh, let us be given a freedom of expression. Like when we write our project proposal, let the proposal be accepted in a good way. But what I'm seeing here, when we write a CBO addressing to OPM or UNSARA, there's a lot of delayments, like no funds, or the donors are not there, or those people die because of corona, what. You see number of issues coming to those CBOs, and the CBOs are not well supported, and we have so many of them, and they are not supported. For those issues to be rectified, let them fund these CBOs. And then also, what in order for us to, there are individual farmers who can do farming and businesses and all. Let also these people be identified and they do businesses. Let the money be given for those who can. Let the money be given forever for them, for those who can able to do businesses, so that to sustain their family. And then particularly the livelihood. We have restriction in the land, and the land is not enough.
There are problems that all the refugees suffer here in Bidi Bidi. Like Mr. Peter and Michael just mentioned, food and water are the most basic issues for survival of any human. Even that is a huge necessity here in the settlement. But there are other set of issues that are specific of women. Some of them have a cultural roots, and others are just the result of the poor assistance that we, the people of Bidi Bidi, receive. Let's talk about this with Mrs. Helen, a neighbor of Bidi Bidi Zone 2.
When you go to the health facility, the only medication that is got is only, there are two types of medication. They don't check generally your body, but they only give you, when you explain anything that you complain on, they only give you Panadol and the Quatem. Those are the only drugs that we receive from the health facility. Like when you, like issues of birth, like when you experience your stomach like almost giving birth, you go to the health facility, they don't give you enough time. Like they just wait for you, just something like 30 minutes, not even reaching, maybe 15 minutes. When you don't give birth, that's when they take you for operation. And that one which is forceful for women. For women like to go out. Yeah, it's something very hard. Like for us here, we're in a large number, and going to get firewood from the host community, it's very hard, because sometimes you find yourself being chased where you went to collect the firewood. Even sometimes you find some of our colleagues being raped. So that one is really very hard for women. It's very difficult for us to go and get firewood from the host community. Like for men, they think that task is only for women. That one is special for women. That is the role of a woman. Of course, what they fear is being raped. Like you never know the person who is raping you, whether he's healthy. What happened when they go to fetch firewood? Some of them, they have been raped. And some even you find yourself being beaten. Like sometimes when you get the firewood, even they, at least if they sympathize with you, they only take the firewood and they chase you away. Like the relationship, I think the relationship with the host community is good, but the bad part of it is when you go to their side, going to fetch firewood. These are the things that makes the relationship to be very bad with the host community. Yeah, I don't know, but I only talk of specifically in Bidi Bidi, where I am settled. I think what should be done, at least we pray that sometimes when these things happen, there are some of these organizations who comes and carry dialogue between the host community and refugees. But that one, it's not done so urgent. You know, these organizations sometimes they still wait for funding. That's when they come and carry this dialogue. To me, I think what should be done, like us, the young women, we need to be empowered. We need to be empowered in so many ways, at least that we can be able to sustain ourselves in Bidi Bidi Zone 2 refugee camp. To overcome all this, they bring for us trainings so that we can be able to sustain ourselves and make our lives better. We need like creating relationship with these host communities, between the host communities and the refugees, and this training, when they are bringing at least trainings for us, they should bring including both the refugees and the host communities. That one at least can create our lives better.
Well, this is the end of this episode of this series. Thank you very much for listening to the Bidi Bidi podcast. We really appreciate the attention and the desire to understand the problems of Africa by listening to one person at a time. If you like this type of stories and you're interested in knowing more about what's going on here in Uganda, in South Sudan, and other places of the continent, please make sure to follow us on Facebook as Bidi Bidi Media Lab and in artseveryhour.ca. My name is Richard Akim. Until the next episode, goodbye.